Hello, good afternoon. Excellencies, distinguished guests, professors, students, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Regional University Network European University Kickoff Meeting and Launch event. We are delighted to welcome you on this online session. In the current context, it was only possible to hold this meeting at distance. However, we did not want to miss out the celebration of this very important moment for the official start of the RunEU project. We hope that all of you are well and that in the near future we'll be able to hold on an event that allows a closer contact between everyone through the organization of a new face-to-face activity. All of the attendees may participate actively by posing their questions in the chat available in the channels. We are now going to listen to the opening speech delivered by the Minister of Science, Technology and Higher Education of Portugal, Professor Manuel Heitor.
Good morning and good afternoon to everyone. For those that are in the north of Europe, I believe it is already in the middle of the afternoon, but those in the south are still in lunchtime.
Nós estamos a ouvir.
Good morning to everyone and good afternoon for those in the north of Europe. Let me first and foremost to thank the Polytechnic of Leiria for organizing this session where I am, but essentially a very important, very relevant and very European initiative. I would like certainly to address the present moment we live in, but also a more strategic issues associated with higher education in Europe, and certainly to refer to the Portuguese presidency of the European Union, which will take place in the first semester of next year. But let me start with our present moment. We live in unprecedented times in Portugal, in Europe, and all over the world. And again, we have been particularly asked by society at large to better understand that we live in a risk society. We are now facing a unique pandemic crisis, but you should also understand that the scientific relevance shows us that these pandemics may increase in the years to come if we don't act very actively and very promptly in the years to come. And therefore, the pandemic, beyond the implications for all our life and for the needs to keep learning and education systems very active, should call us for a better understanding of the times we live. And this is important because we know that this pandemic in particular has started in animals, it has passed to human beings, and the scientific evidence has shown over the last months that so-called zoonotic diseases or zoonoses are increasing as a result of an imbalance between our economic activity and the planet Earth. And therefore, evolving in this new geological era, what has been called by many scholars as the Anthropocene, does require a better equilibrium between our economic activities that we want to foster and Mother Nature. And these are essentially new conditions which require new knowledge, requires institutional innovation, particularly in articulating different areas of knowledge, but also new observation and data processing methods. And this is a challenge for everyone, which can only be achieved with a strong engagement of institutions of higher education with society in general, but also among them. That is the reason why this network is so important as other European networks of higher education, but this one is particularly important because it addresses completely different regional contexts, and it brings together institutions which are particularly engaged with regional developments. And I believe the name that all of you have given to this network is particularly symbolic, about Run EU, but at overall, this idea that we need to run faster in Europe is particularly associated with these movements of networks of European institutions. So the actual moment, the pandemic crisis calls us for our particular need how to articulate different contexts for education, certainly in close articulation with research and innovation, but above all, to bring together also different regions. And I believe, again, through higher education is the most appropriate context. And let me frame this in what I believe are four main challenges for Europe at large and for European higher education in particular. First is the enlargement of higher education to provide access to everyone. In Europe, we know that only about 40% of adult population has access to higher education. In Portugal, we are slightly above European average figures, with 50% of our 20 years old kids are participating in higher education, but we should not be happy throughout Europe, and we are not happy in Portugal. So we plan by 2030 to facilitate in Portugal, and should our goal for Europe to have 6 out of each 10 kids, 20-year-olds, to participate actively in higher education. And enlarging of higher education does require a major challenge throughout Europe of diversifying the type of education, but also specializing education in some specific sectors. And again, these are particularly important in the European context to keep a diversified system of higher education with the possibility of specific specialization, particularly in a regional context under the regional innovation strategies, which are particularly important in the European context. Again, this network, I believe, is particularly important in this area. Third, we know that to diversify and to specialize, and at the same time to enlarge higher education, we need more and more to articulate education with research and with innovation. And this virtuous triangle of the three activities can only be done, again, in an European context, with institutions which are very well connected with the local and the regional context, particularly with companies and with the public administration. In Portugal, these networks brings 2 institutions which have a very solid and strong institutional linkage with the public and the private sector. In the central zone, the Polytechnic of Leiria, in the north, the Polytechnic of Cabo Verde, and you have that have different specializations, but they have really shown over the last years how important is to bring together research with education and with innovation. These 2 institutions have excellent centers of research. They are engaged in innovative activities and innovation projects, and are particularly suitable to partner with all over Europe in this triangulation of more education with more research and more innovation. Last but not least, the overall issue of building European institutions. And this is important because over the last 30 years, we have shown a very important movement throughout Europe associated with the mobility of students. Today, being European is also being an Erasmus student. What we know is that this is not enough. we need to continue with the mobility of students, but we need to do more than mobility of students and mobility of teachers and research. We need to create really European institutions. And again, these movements of European networks of higher education are particularly important in the context of bringing together institutions which share values, and particularly try to move towards joint recruitment of teachers and researchers, joint recruitment of students, and essentially manage their activities in a true European consortium. So I want to congratulate this initiative by the type of diversified regions and contexts, and how real are the commitments, particularly of the Portuguese institutions. But I know from experience in Ireland and the Netherlands and in Finland, how important this network will be in our European context. A final remark for those which are participating in this debate from the OECD, and in particular from the LMRO project, the Labour Market Relevance Outcomes, which is a project which Portugal has engaged. Again, I was aware of this project through our colleagues in the Polytechnic of Leiria, and this has become a particularly important initiative in Portugal and in Europe. As you know, it brings together 4 different European countries, supported by the Commission and with the strong engagement of the OECD, particularly in the current context. And actually in Portugal, we have associated this the implementation of this project together with an initiative that we call Skills for Post-COVID, particularly promoting a series of objectives which are very endogenous to this RAN-EU network, associated again with the enlargement of the access to higher education, but also with the diversification of the supply of higher education. We know that we need more and more to complement traditional education, which is long, particularly in Southern European contexts, with shorter and shorter courses, either initial training, but also professional, post-grad education. And again, the institutions engaged in this network are particularly suitable to test and to experiment new initiatives, including the so-called European microcredits, to facilitate the training of adult population. And this is my final context. When we speak about new experiences in Europe, we speak also very much in enlargement and diversifying, but we need to better and better understand the different and diversified European contexts for lifelong learning. Particularly in Southern European regions, we have still a great gap compared with the Nordic countries in terms of the performance of lifelong learning schemes. In Portugal, the average age of higher education student is about 25 years old, while in Northern European countries, particularly in Finland and in Denmark, the average age of a student is above 40 years old. And this means particularly because in Southern European countries, there is not a tradition of lifelong learning. And again, the education of adults will become more and more important in the context of what we call today all the requirements for reskilling and for upskilling of our population, particularly in a context where our lives are longer and longer. For instance, in the Portuguese context, we are entering in a new decade where the life expectancy will go until 87 years old, and therefore we need to train people along their lives because we, fortunately enough, will have longer lives. And again, higher education is certainly for the youngsters, but is more and more also for bringing together the adults, the elderly, and the youngsters together in a more comprehensive debate and dialogue among different generations. And therefore, again, this network, by bringing together Southern European, Central and North European institutions, I'm sure, will open a dialogue about the way we can promote lifelong learning in a modern term and for a European which a Europe which we want to be more resilient, more green, more digital, but also more social and more global. Actually, those 5 attributes will be the main issues to be addressed by the Portuguese presidency of the European Union in the first semester of 2021. So thank you very much. I congratulate you all, in particular the Portuguese institutions, but always the European network and this RAN-EU network of higher education. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Manuel Heitor, for the opening speech. And now, continuing with the agenda, we will have a presentation of the Regional University Network, European University, which will be delivered by Professor Rui Pedrosa, President of the Polytechnic of Leiria, Portugal.
Start? Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here to present the Regional University Network, the European University of the Regional University Network. Of course, I want to greet to everyone that follow us online. I want to greet particularly our Minister of Higher of Science, Technology and Higher Education, Professor Manuel Heitor, for your speech, but also to be here in Leiria, in the Polytechnic of Leiria. I want to greet also with a particular compliment, with a huge, unfortunately, a virtual hug to my friends, presidents and rectors of all of the universities that are on board of the Regional University Network. Of course, I want to greet all of leaders and co-leaders of the work packages, all the teachers, researchers, staff, all the students, all of our associated partners that will be crucial for the big challenge that we have not in the next 3 years, but in the next 30 years that we'll be together on this societal transformation. And finally, of course, I want to thank our international advisors, Professor Anne Brezé and Professor Rory Novi. The main idea of the Regional University Network is delivering future and advanced skills for societal transformation in the European Union regions. It not works. To pass the slides, please. So we have 8 higher education institutions. Now works, okay. We have 8 higher education institutions that are global and multicultural higher education institution, but as the minister said, with a focus on regional development. From Portugal, behind the Polytechnic of Leiria, we have the Polytechnic of Cabo de Hav. From Ireland, we have Limerick Institute of Technology and the Athlone Institute of Technology. From the Netherlands, the University of Applied Science, NHL Stanton. From Austria, Vorarlberg University of Applied Science. From Hungary, we have Széchenyi István University. From Finland, the HAMK University of Applied Sciences. Our mission and vision is connected with foster excellence and innovation in the higher education, education, ensure, of course, core principles of and values of European Union, delivering future and advanced skills, connecting with the improving national and international competitiveness of our associated regions, allowing them, all of our regions, to complement but also to compete with existing capital and large city regions, as well retain and attract young talent and correct some existing and favorable bias in development trends in the peripheral European regions. As well, to contribute to the idea of an economic, social, and cultural sustainability associated, of course, to our regions, but mainly with our associated partners, to try to construct a true engine of regional development, and in a long-term vision to have the idea of a big construction of a European zone for interregional development. How we will realizing our vision, of course, with a full program designed with a long-term vision with all the Alliance universities, as well with the associated partners. But of course, basically, like the main European universities as well, to have the idea to recognition of learning periods in all of our Alliance universities, the idea of complementary curriculum and the construction of collaborative European degrees, and for sure to enhance the joint research, development, and innovation projects. But we have three unique new educational platforms. The construction of an inside the regional university network, the European Mobility Innovation Center, the idea of construct future and advanced skills academies, and three European innovation hubs. We will have one central FASA, and we will have 8 institutional future and advanced skills academies, not only to transform the whole regional university network, but also to transform in a plain idea all the higher education institutions, push innovative pedagogical strategies, curricular flexibility, and also deliver and develop courses. The European Mobility Innovation Center, of course, will manage mobilities in bachelor's, master's, and in PhD programs, but also will try to increase mobility activities, including physical, virtual, and blended mobilities. But another thing that is one of the main commitments of the European Mobility Innovation Center is the idea to put the social innovation together with the mobility, promoting multilingualism and multiculturalism, but also try to develop some public policies and organization strategies to increase the participation on this kind of mobilities for underrepresented and disadvantaged groups. As I mentioned, we will have three European innovation hubs. that will be completely connected, as our minister said, with at least 3 transforming agendas of Europe. We will have the European Innovation Hub on future industry and sustainable regional development, which will be completely connected with the digital transformation, the bioeconomy European Innovation Hub, which is completely aligned with the green transformation that we have and we need as a European strategy, and the European Innovation Hub in social innovation, that in nowadays is even more important, not only because the health situation that we live, but also because the consequences that we will have in economic and the social context. Our collaborative approach will be supported by a quadruple helix related with pedagogical, research, innovation, and societal engagement activities. As I mentioned, with focus on advanced skills, with, as the minister said, are connected with lifelong learning and mainly with reskilling and upskilling. And this idea is, of course, very, very connected with one of our associated partners, OECD, and particularly with labor market relevance outcomes project. And as I mentioned, all of this will contribute to a long-term vision for our regional development related with the construction of a European zone for interregional development. To achieve some of these objectives during the next 3 years, we organize our work in 8 work packages, of course, one related with coordination and management, another connected with dissemination and sustainability, 3 completely related with our unique educational platforms, the European Innovation Hubs, Future and Advanced Skills Academies, and the European Mobility Innovation Center, but also 3 work packages, one related with what we designated as a RunEU Discovery Program, one full connected with the construction of short advanced programs, not only to be part of our collaborative European degrees, but also to be an instrument for the reskilling and the upskilling strategy. We will have 2 main advisor boards, one from our associated partners and one from students. One of the things that I need to mention is that all our 8 higher education institutions are in all the work package and all have responsibilities as a leader or co-leader institutions. Of course, to do this, we need support, and it is very, very important, the support that we achieved and the financial support from the European Commission. This project for the next 3 years, we have this main budget of 6,250,000 euros, and from the European Commission we have 5 million euros. Of course, we need a huge commitment and the complementary support for the regional government, for the national governments, and for complementary programs that came from European Commission. Finally, I just will give you some of the outputs that we will have in the next 3 years. As I mentioned, we will construct this European Mobility Innovation Center, 3 European Innovation Hubs, 1 central FASA, and 8 institutional FASA. To do this, we will have some strategical mobilities to push and support our strategy. For the FASA construction, we will have 120 mobility actions. To support the RunEU Discovery Program, we will have 72 students and 96 research staff mobilities during the 3 years. We will design 80 short advanced programs with the engagement and more than 1,100 students and 160 academic staff driven mobilities. We will design and we will have 24 double degrees and 3 joint degrees with a lot of driven mobilities connected with that. We hope that in 2021 we will have global conditions to implement the annual student week that will have 1 week for the students collaborate with the strategies of regional university network, but also for the students contribute and participate in the short advanced programs. As a whole, in the 3 years project, we will have 1,615 mobility for students connected with this regional university network and the idea of transform our regions, and almost 700 academic and administrative staff mobilities. Finally, fortunately, the European Commission launched coordination and support action that will support our, we hope, our regional university network in terms of research and innovation with 2 million euros. We designed a project that was submitted in the last 10 of November with the idea of Run EU Plus connected with professional research programs for business and society, mainly linked to professional masters and professional PhDs. So we are, thank you to hearing the presentation of Regional University Network, and we have sure that our students, the students of the Regional University Network, the students that we have nowadays, but the students that we will have in the future, for sure will inherit the future. Thank you very much.
Não me ponhas ainda em direto.
to only be connected?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Professor Rui Pedrosa, for the presentation of RunEU. We'll now get to the roundtable discussion with the presidents and directors from RunEU under the theme, The Transformation Potential of European Universities. And to start this roundtable, I would like to invite the president of Limerick Institute of Technology from Ireland, Professor Vincent Cunan.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Vincent.
Okay. I'll try to share something, but it's okay. I can say it verbally, and that will save some time as well. So, firstly, it's delighted to be here, both at a professional.
Não deve saber partilhar até.
And it's a great day for LIT to be formally part of the Run EU consortium. And I'd like to congratulate IP Lyria and Rui Pedrosa in particular for his leadership in taking us to this point. And it's been a lovely journey, and it's only starting. So LIT is very much delighted to be part of this interesting and ambitious project. Just to say a little bit about LIT, we're about 7,000 students. We go across about 10% of the landmass of Ireland. We have a very distributed model of access to higher education across 3 major counties of Limerick, Tipperary and Clare. And I'd like to welcome the representatives from those councils as associate members here to this afternoon. We are fully comprehensive in the sense we go from level 6 to level 10 on national qualifications framework. So from certificates, advanced certificates to PhDs. We very much are in the area of research informed teaching, and I suppose we serve a very diverse set of communities. Access and first generation learners are very much a part of what we do and value very much that interaction. Regional development is at the very heart of what we are coming as what we do. And I've previously been head of a regional development agency, Shannon Development. So we're very happy and delighted to be part of this. And we're also, of course, on a big journey ourselves with our partners in Athlone Institute of Technology. And we are going to form a technological university. And we hope that that will be as soon as September of the coming year. So Rui, rather than having to deal with 8 members or 7 other members, you'll have only 6 to deal with in a short period of time. What does the Run EU mean to LIT? Well, of course, we're co-coordinator on work packages 1 and 8. We lead on work package 5, the EU Discovery, the Run Discovery Programme, and we are a partner across a number of other areas. I think the main thing for us is it's given us enhanced access to international students and to staff and partners, direct input in leading design and development of unique programs and platforms, collaborative RDI opportunities, regional, national, international development for all of our LIT partners and stakeholders, and the benefits to our associate members and partners is very significant. And I think this Run EU places at the very forefront of academic industry interactions. And of course, we have been very much involved, as I say, with Athlone in development of a technological university, which we submitted to the minister last Friday. And so the endorsement of the EU for what we've been doing in recognizing us as part of a European university network has been central to our drive to become that technological university. So partnership, regional development, access for students, making those students available in a European context. These are all things that are very important to LIT, and we're delighted to be part of this, as I say, very ambitious program. We look forward to many years of success And I wish Rui and again all the team that have got us to this point all the very greatest success into the future. I'd also like to thank our Minister Niall Collins from the Department of Further and Higher Education, Research, Innovation and Science, the Minister of State there, responsibility for skills in particular, to welcome him, who will be saying a few words towards the end of the meeting. Thank you very much indeed.
For the next presentation, I would like to invite Professor Erika Schapper, the president of NHL, Stanton University of Applied Sciences, from the Netherlands.
Thank you very much. Rui, for the opportunity that we can be part of this wonderful University of Applied Science, this European university. We all universities of applied science, and that I think makes us very special. NHL Stanton is a University of Applied Science in the Netherlands, in the northern of the Netherlands. We have about 24,000 students, with a lot of international students as well, about 15%. And we have three main focal points. The first is design-based education, our way of education, giving education in which students are working in multidisciplinary projects and learn in co-creation with our environment. We have internationalization as a main focal point, and this partnership gives us lots of opportunities to create possibilities of exchange for our students and to work in international projects. And we think that it's very important. We do have a grand tour for students to go abroad, and we have some special places in, for example, South Africa, Bali, Bangkok. But we are very pleased to also have a lot of opportunities for partnerships in Europe now as well. So we can, for all kinds of students, from education to technology, from economics to all studies we have. We are a broad university. We can create with you opportunities for exchange. So we're also pleased that we are working in that work package where we want to create new possibilities and new possibilities of exchange. And in these times, for example, virtual exchange is also a possibility. It's not as good as really working together and looking into each other's eyes, but we think we can handle this situation with dealing in now a virtual reality, and maybe later on can have some meetings with students all over Europe. In the third place, we have some focal points like vital regions, smart sustainable industries and service economy. That's where we focus our research. And the theme as vital regions is also very important in this European network, but because we work closely together with entrepreneurs, with government in the Netherlands. We're working on themes like we want to be a region of prosperity. And I think what we can do together is to combine, to create a network of ecosystems, and we can learn from each other. We all have parts of the puzzle of circularity, for example, and I think there can be a lot of exchange. And my dream is that we create exchange for students, that we create exchange for staff, but also create exchange for entrepreneurs, so we can contribute to our regions to broaden the focus, the view of our students, but also the view of our entrepreneurs. I'm very pleased that we can be part of this network. We have a lot of ambition with the associate partners in our region, and well, I'm very pleased that we reached this level of partnership at this moment, and looking forward to start our journey together. Thank you very much, and I hope that we have a nice talk this afternoon and we can do some exchange in what possibilities we can see together.
Now, I will invite Professor Pertti Pusaari, Director of Amma University of Applied Science from Finland, to give the next speech.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here in this historic moment. I think that for us, this European University is really important part of our development. And I think that in the European University, there's a absolutely great amount of potential for the change of the paradigm of the traditional higher education system. And I think that there's a possible to change towards the dynamic change maker. For example, I believe that at this moment, this is the most important development project of the higher education in Finland and also in the Europe, in the whole Europe. We are building together the European University Run. And I believe that it's from the very beginning, international, several European nations and cultures are involved. I think that the European University, it means that we are going beyond the normal barriers of the individual university's autonomy. So there's a really dramatic change that is happening. We are building a new party, as said, European University, and we want to be competitive together in this planet Earth. I think that there are a lot of possibilities. I believe in better overall quality of education and research. We can talk about European quality of education and higher education. I believe that the university impact increased based on the common competencies, infrastructures, as well as European-wide enterprise network that is working with us. But I also believe that to release the full potential of the European University, we have to work through several barriers. Issues that are in conflict with goals, how to work through different quality assurance systems, how to work through problems that arise because of national legislations. For example, in Finland, we have 2 years work experience before master education, and that can be a difficulty. How to work with the missing PhD studies in Finland's universities of applied sciences. But in our university, HAMK, we make a decision that we included in our strategic milestones a goal that European University Run is ready 2024. So that year, we have all worked with passion and challenged each others and gone through all the obstacles that arise. So thank you.
Now, we go to Austria, as we invite Professor Tanja Iserlohn, Director of F.H. Vorarlberg University of Applied Sciences.
Yeah, thank you and welcome from Austria. Yeah, in one sentence, what is the potential of the European University Initiative? Together, we are much stronger. The University of Applied Sciences Vorarlberg is, compared to the others, a very small university. We have 1,600 students. You have heard from Vincent, 7,000. Erica has a huge university, and we are compared to the others small. We work in the areas of technology, business, design, social work, and healthcare. We are very strongly connected to our region, Vorarlberg, which is in the very western part of Austria and far away from the capital, Vienna. And at this point, I want to thank our representative of the regional government, Gabriela Dörr, to join us this afternoon. We are really heavily supported by the government. Yeah, and like all other Run EU partners, we face the same challenges, and the mission of us is quite the same. We want to create an added value for the economy, for the society of the region we are situated in. We all need study programs, training programs, offers which will strive to secure the sustainable economic, social, cultural, and environmental progress of our region and stakeholders. Future and advanced skills are needed to solve the problems you face, like, of course, the pandemic, the aging society, climate change issues, migration, sustainable energy use, and the increasing complexity of our society. Together, we are able to develop training programs and courses, study programs, joint and double degrees, research projects, and innovative academies where students and our colleagues can acquire these future skills and then contribute to increasing the competitiveness of our region. In my opinion, the future lies in collaboration. Together, we are much stronger, like I mentioned at the beginning. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Instead, we are creating synergy through dialogue and collaboration. We already started. Last week, we had our first webinar about challenges in online teaching, especially the question how to support interaction among students. It was a lively exchange of ideas, concepts, and best practices of all 8 institutions. This is for me, as a rector of a small university, a very huge advantage to be member of this RUN EU Alliance. All universities opened their door widely, shared their knowledge, give deep insights into their organization and strategies. We have become not only colleagues, but really friends with a common goal. We will identify and deliver these advanced future skills, which our region, society, and Europe in general needs to meet the challenges which are waiting for us. Together, we enhance the intercultural competencies of European inhabitants, the European spirit, through mobility, if virtual or real. We are developing innovative pedagogical approaches which are able to give future generations of students a perfect start in a satisfying and successful professional career. I'm proud to be a member of RUN EU, and my special thanks goes to Rui and Nuno from Polytechnic Leiria and to all the others who contributed a lot of work to our alliance. Thank you so much.
Now, I would like to invite Professor Ciaran O'Katane, the President of Athlone Institute of Technology from Ireland, to give the next speech.
Good afternoon, colleagues and friends, and it's a great pleasure to be joining you this afternoon for the EU kickoff meeting of RUN. From an AIT perspective, we very much welcome the regional focus of the RUN Alliance and the importance of being a catalyst for regional development and sustainable social and economic activities in our respective countries. I would like to acknowledge the orientation and the importance of the initial planned work as set out by the RUN project team and commend its vision, significant and potential impact it will have. As we at AIT seek national designation to become a technological university with our partners in LIT, we're excited to conceive the impact that our new TU and the RUN Alliance partnership will have in strengthening our capacity to deliver for our region and our stakeholders. AIT has a long history of innovation in the Midlands region of Ireland, where we play a significant role in research and development activities in partnership with local industry. We host 2 of the leading Enterprise Ireland research gateways, the Midlands Innovation and Research Centre, and 3 research institutes supporting both fundamental and applied research activity. In particular, the development of the European Innovation Hubs and the RUN Discovery Programme promise to ensure that we continue to have sustained impact in addressing the current and emerging societal challenges. Central to our mission in AIT is our commitment to access to higher education, and our programme of upskilling, reskilling and advanced vision will support and be supported by the creation of the future skills academies. Our collective capacity to offer collaborative European degrees will significantly strengthen our individual institutions while also developing the European educational area. In pursuit of meeting the needs of our regions, our ambition to challenge the norm and commit to building short advanced programs that utilise state-of-the-art digital technologies and micro-credentials to support a more agile, bespoke and contemporary provision is to be lauded. I would like to thank my colleagues in AIT for their commitment and contribution to the run to date and commit AIT to its continued support. We're very proud to be part of the Run Alliance, and we wish to acknowledge the great work that has been done by Rui and his team, and indeed all of our friends throughout Europe to bring this project to where it is today. We look forward to continuing to work with you all as we move into the next stage of this project. Go to Míle Marga.
Our session moves to the east. The next presenter is Professor Esther Lucas, the Vice Rector for Educational Affairs of Széchenyi István University from Hungary.
Dear colleagues, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm representing Dr. Bálint Philip, the president of our university. We are humbled and privileged to be a member of the Run Alliance of European Universities. And first and foremost, we would like to express our appreciation to the consortium leader, Politecnico de Leiria. Our colleagues, Rui and Nuno, are demonstrating immense work, and we are truly humbled. I would like to go on and answer the questions what RUN European Consortium brings to Széchenyi István University. It is a possibility for international research through the European innovation hubs, and the end result of research activity is always quality education. So for all of us, the 8 consortium members, the European University Network enhances global visibility and our visibility in the European higher education area. We need to underline that we've got all associated partners. Today, Széchenyi István University's associated partner, Audi Hungary, is invited. We are humbled by their presence and support. Audi Hungary has been present in Széchenyi István University and in Hungary since 1993. 40% of the engineers employed by Audi Hungary are graduates and alumni of Széchenyi István University. Though we are not a university of applied sciences, we are very proud of our industrial relationships, and we do trust that the industrial relationships of 8 members of our consortium will be expanded throughout our collaboration. We are very thankful to our associated partners. I should also like to underline that we are co-leaders of the work package 6 with our partner IPCA from Portugal. Micro-credentials are keywords of the consortium. And here I would like to acknowledge again one of our guests, a representative of the Ministry of Innovation and Technology, Dr. Shinoro Sabo Laura. Without the support of all our ministries responsible for higher education, it would have been impossible to carry out this tremendous task, the realization of European degrees and joint European micro-credentials. And finally, I would like to join into Dr. Tanya Ezelen's words, because Tanya, the rector of Vollerberg University, said that though our endeavor is a collaborative higher education area, but we also became friends. So I would like to appreciate your friendship and express our gratitude on behalf of the leadership of our university. And I also would like to thank to our students for their kind support and participation. Thank you.
Now we'll go to Portugal. The president of the Polytechnic of Cávado and Ave, Professor Maria José Fernandes, will give the next speech.
2019, exactly 1 year ago in Leiria, all RAN-EU members were sitting at the same table for the very first time. It is amazing to realize what we have jointly achieved in such a short period. Then, despite our enthusiasm, you wouldn't have imagined that we would be celebrating the RAN-EU as we are today. IPCA feels very proud and privileged to be able to share this vision of what a future university should be with all of you. It surely reinforces our identity and makes us stronger and more relevant. The Polytechnic of Cávado and Ave is the most recent Portuguese public higher education institution, founded in 1994. We are located in the region known for its significant economic activity and by the youth of the population. IPCA has been playing for nearly 26 years an important role of development agent in the region, being present in several surrounding municipalities of the Cávado and Ave Valley. Despite its youth and numerous challenges, IPCA enjoys a very high reputation for its educational performance and applied research, the remarkable degrees of interaction with other institutions, and the society in general. It's also a word of reference. IPCA has 5 dynamic schools in the following fields: design, management, engineering, technology, and hospitality and tourism, offering a broad range of bachelor's, master, and professional short cycles courses, as well as a PhD in collaboration with the University of Aveiro. We have 5,005 students in all cycles of study. Our students' population is quite diverse and have different needs and expectations. We know it is not easy or simple, but we are fully engaged in building a genuine environment where each individual has an equal and personalized opportunity for education progress. Internationalization has been a priority since its very beginning, and as such, it is a core transversal element in our mission and strategic plan. IPCA has been making considerable efforts to consolidate its international dimension and have an important volume of international work as many categories which reinforce and complement each other, fostering institutional cohesion, inclusiveness, sustainability, and aiming and attaining greater impact and relevance. I apologize for using a romantic metaphor, but literally today I must recognize that RAN-EU came and swept us off our feet. Future and advanced skills, pedagogical innovation, European innovation hubs, joint research projects, innovative mobility formats, flexible and customized curriculum, reskilling and upskilling, micro-credentials, European degrees, and inter-institutional camping, among others, are all in our agenda. For IPCA, the main rationale being RAN-EU is this forward-looking, to drive to reinvent ourselves, to reinvent what we do and how we do it, to try different things, to be able to jointly develop and thinking this co-creation platform and supportive alliance. It's particularly special. Getting everyone on board, it's a permanent challenge. We are ready and very committed to deliver what it's expected from us, to get out of our comfort zone. Within our institutional autonomy, we will do what is at our reach. However, our plan demands a multi-level and multi-actor transformation. It needs to be supported by an enabling policy framework, both at the national and European levels. We are counting on all of you to walk this path along with us. Thank you very much for your attention.
And to conclude this panel of speakers, I invite Professor Rui Pedrosa from the Polytechnic of Leiria, from Portugal, to give the last speech.
Briefly, why we think that the potential of the main potential of the European University to transform the Polytechnic of Leiria. For sure, will strong and accelerate the European identity construction to all our academic community, students, teachers, researchers, staff, to everyone. Will generate for sure conditions to boost the network inside the regional university network. Will stress all of our academic community to think global. Will push the curricular flexibility, the modular course construction, thinking on the upskilling and reskilling societal needs. Will give us the opportunity to have European degrees. Will give us a unique opportunity as a higher education institution to be part of the first line of the higher education institutions in Europe, basically to be part of the Champions League of the European universities, including in 41 universities that were approvably, and mainly will give us the unique opportunity to learn with the other higher education institutions in a collaborative and a co-creation approach strategy. To be part of a European university will be for sure an opportunity to be an important strategy for European Union, and for that we will be always available for testing pioneer projects from the European Commission for higher education, for research, and for innovation. Thank you all.
Go ahead, Don.
Thanks, Kieran.
Okay, let's go
Okay.
to the next panel. So I would like to thank to all the presentations that were given on the last panel. And now we are going to the students moment. So the students are the center of all the work from the Run EU network. We will now continue with our agenda with the presentation about students' engagement and involvement in European universities. And representing the students from Run EU European University, I would like to invite Aini Dali to do the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So hello, everyone. I want to thank you all for coming to the event on student engagement and involvement in the European University. And I welcome you here today for today's discussion. To formally introduce myself, my name is Anya Daly. I am the President-elect of the Students' Union for Athlone Institute of Technology in Ireland. And I'm one of 8 student representatives involved in this process that you will have the opportunity to meet later on in this discussion. So to give you some context of the student engagement so far, 16 of us met for the first time in Brussels on the 12th of February, where we were given the opportunity to collaborate on ideas and share our own student experience of our respective campuses that we were there to represent. We were provided with a student workshop that was kindly organised for us, giving us the platform to share our vision of what the European University could look like, and giving the students their voice in the formation of the foundations of this very exciting European network. The student representatives gave presentations on how their student representative structure complemented their own higher education institutes and what their experience was like from the perspective of a student. It was very insightful activity, giving us the students context and a baseline to build for the discussions ahead. To give you insight into the workshops we attended, we were afforded the opportunity to brainstorm on the vision of what this ideal university could be and the different elements and the components that come with that. We collaborated on a proposal on the student participation structures for the then future EU network. We cohesively divided into different groups for discussions on how students can participate in their own design and management, and how to ensure student involvement is kept front and centre in its implementation. In the second part of the day, it consisted of a large group activity with all the student reps, where we're dared to dream and imagine of what this ideal university could be, and what the future skills and competencies of students are, and what kind of university could nurture and foster that growth. We explored different steps needed to make this a reality, adopting a holistic approach of what is needed to make this happen, who needs to be involved and when, the different styles of teaching delivered, and of course, the different ways in how students take in information. We really welcomed the opportunity to discuss the 14 challenges of what students in our respective campuses would face when entering or going through education, and how we can mitigate against them to ensure equity of access to education for all. With these activities, we were afforded the opportunity to dream without limitations. And students being students, we aim for the stars, and we landed on the annual Student Week Run Challenge. At the Run EU launch and the Run EU network presentation, the students collaborated on a pitch that was presented on their vision of the future university and the student representation and engagement with this process that will be discussed further in this presentation. Okay, so the main objectives from students with this network are to create a sustainable model to implement online and offline learning and different teaching styles for the students. Little did we know when we met last year in February back in Brussels what lay ahead of us. But my own personal opinion, I feel that we have shown ourselves to be quite resilient, a lot more adaptable and technology savvy than before. Another emphasis students would love is working with professionals to establish a platform for talks to share their experience in different fields. As we're all aware, it's so important for students to be given that insight into career opportunities and to empower them with the connections for different fields in their study, affording them valuable direction in the progression going forward. Another big area is creating an environment that bonds regional institutions and academic communities together to create this intercultural awareness and knowledge sharing across Europe. So with this, it goes back to the ethos of why the European University Initiative came about. Yes, it's for collaboration and for strategic development, but it's also about tapping into the diversity that lies within Europe itself. So we're all so different, and thank God for that, because life would be very bleak if we were all the same and we wouldn't achieve much with one perspective. So collaboration is key here, and to be open to it and to ensure that everyone feels included and supported in this process. Another big area is connecting students and staff through a common language of face-to-face interactions and skills, and to join a community that inspires. This took me back to my own local campus, AIT. Every year we top the polls on a national survey of the most satisfied students in Ireland. And that is purely down to the community here in AIT, but also the interactions with lecturers. So it's understanding, while we're expanding with this network, that not everything has to change. Some things need protecting and just brought up to the European level. And also to reinvent the education model through the mixture of theory and practical learning. To bring it back to myself again, I'm a social science. I studied social science in AIT, and with that we had 800 hours placement. And from that, so much experience can be gained, confidence in your skills, and also network opportunities for the students going forward. Okay, so now we're on the representative structure of this new network. So with the representative structure, it would fall down to a student advisory board. So what's their job? Their job is to advise the Run EU committee with emphasis on student engagement, activities, inclusion, multiculturalism, student mobility, innovation, and European degrees. And how would they work? They work at local and European level. So a student advisory board on the local level will consist of 15 students, 10 from the region, from the nation, and then 5 outside the EU, to ensure all the student voice is represented within this committee. We'd meet every 6 months to review and advise on the Run EU implementation and impact. And with that, 8 students are selected for the General Assembly. So what they'll do is they'll act as ambassadors on their local campuses to get the message out there and get people involved. A really exciting initiative with this is all the local student advisory boards come together yearly to form a European Student Advisory Board, which can consist of 120 students. And they'll meet every year on the annual Student Week, which is something very exciting that's coming out of this development. So the feedback system, I'm not going to talk much on this, as we're all aware, the feedback system is so important in regards to partnership, but also quality assurance. And what the students just want to know is to make sure that feedback systems are always kept open. Okay, so some of the advantages of participation in the Run Network are you get to meet different cultures and all international connections. I know from my own experience getting involved with this network, I feel very lucky. For the other students in this network, I found them very bright, and they're all credits to their own institutions. I look forward to working with them in the future events of this network. In regards to extracurricular activities, we're all aware that a lot of when you come to third level education, it's not only to advance your education and your perspective, but also to empower good citizenship. It takes good citizens to build a community. So let's establish a transformative, inclusive community together. And in regards to gaining credit points for social activity, that all ties back to micro-credentials and just tapping into that potential. And the great thing is you can get involved with this network with your friends. Okay, this is the fun part. So this is the Run EU Challenge. So what would happen here is at the annual Student Week, the students will come together on a societal challenge relevant to the area that is hosting the week. So for example, in Ireland, in the larger cities, there's some issues with some, the breadth of the rental market due to not enough social housing being built. So that could be a main area for if we were hosting the week. So with the students' findings, they will be presented to local authorities and stakeholders. but so much opportunity comes from this. It's links with industry, opportunities with research, but most importantly, it's awakening the societal conscience amongst your student body. On the 4th of November, the student reps were invited to the European University's student session for every student involved in the first and second call of the initiative. So with that, we had welcome and introductions from Vanessa and Ona from the European Universities Initiative and on their vision of what the student engagement would be like. There was a presentation by students involved with the European alliances and also recommendations and Q&A with the Erasmus Student Network and the European Students' Union. Now, the perspective coming back from students in the Run network involved was very mixed. A lot of students had technology issues that they weren't able to engage, but thankfully on the day my internet kind of held up, so I was able to get involved in the process. So the three main areas the students had a choice in getting involved with was fostering engagement, awareness raising and promotion, and future vision of the European universities. So I myself was involved with the awareness raising and promotion. I acted as rapporteur for the group, where we debriefed in the next session to equip the students for their following session with the rectors. I found this event to be extremely informative, even from the context of seeing the different levels of student engagement with the other initiatives. And from speaking to the students in our own network, we're very grateful for our own institutes for getting us involved so early in the process. So thank you from all of us. So before we go into the Q&A session, some of the topics we'll be talking about will be coordination and advisory groups, European mobility, small advanced programs, collaborative degrees, research and innovation, and diversity and inclusion. Before we go into that, we have a nice little video to show you from students of their involvement and what they see for the Run network.
Hi guys, my name is Jade Fines. Hi guys, my name is Jade Fines. I am a student at Finland Institute of Technology. I would like to congratulate all involved in the Run EU project. What an amazing and fine project. Community and collaboration, the perfect couple just married together. I was delighted to be part of the Run EU project since last February. I had the opportunity to go to Brussels and meet new students. We shared ideas. We had a roundtable discussion about what a Run EU Congratulations, guys. What an amazing job. I can't wait to see what happens next. And mind yourselves and stay safe.
Hello, I'm Elias from the University of Applied Science in Vorarlberg in Austria. What I wish as a student of RunEU, a network of students from all over Europe, the cultural experience and exchange programs, alternative study programs from the partner universities, and a simple mobility possibility to partner universities.
Hello everyone, I'm Elena. I'm an international student at the Polytechnical Institute of Cavalo and Ave in Portugal, and I'm very excited about RunEU. I see it as a great opportunity for all students to have access to different cultures and perspectives, and also to think about the European education in a different kind of level. So I hope we can all grow together as individuals and as a community.
Hello everybody, this is Everett from Long IT. And what I truly expect from RunEU is having an outlet that would allow not only students, but also researchers and academics to experience what the college life means depending on where in Europe you are.
Hi everyone, my name is Anya and I'm from Athlone Institute of Technology in Ireland. What are we excited about with this brand new university network? I think it's down to all the opportunity that comes with it. The opportunity for students to study at all different campuses across Europe, and of course the brand new channels of development and cooperation with research that have started to grow with the foundations of this brand new European university.
Hello everyone, this is Carter from Finland, and what I expect from the RunEU is to make new friends across the Europe and to learn with them. Thank you.
Hello folks, this is Samuel from Limerick, Ireland. And what I expect from RunEU is loads of opportunities, loads of mobility, and loads of research collaboration. Thank you.
Hi everyone, James Clifford here from Limerick Institute of Technology. And what I expect from RunEU is educational and research opportunities for everyone and a community that you can be a part of no matter where you are from.
Hi there, it's Beatriz from Polytechnic of Cavalo and Ave in Portugal. I expect Run to bring new opportunities for students, such as groundbreaking, student-driven course structures, and mobility activities. I believe Run can and will improve students' academic lives.
Hi, my name is Niall. I'm from Athlone Institute of Technology in Ireland, and what I'm most looking forward to is being able to have the opportunity to study in Europe.
Hi everyone, my name is Kevin and I'm from Athlone Institute of Technology here in Ireland. What I'm most excited about with this new regional network is the opportunity to study with loads of different nationalities and the opportunity also to learn new languages.
Hello, I'm Miguel from Polytechnic of Finland, and I truly believe that the student council within the RunEU will be important for the engagement of the students and also to break down barriers between universities.
Hi, this is Denise and I'm from Stanton University in the Finland. I was lucky enough to have so many international experiences during my studies, and I really hope that RunEU will create a lot of opportunities for students to do the same.
Welcome everyone, my name is Sofia and I study at Széchenyi István University in Győr. I expect from RunEU a better cooperation with European universities and many new opportunities to meet cultures.
Hi folks, Radvile here from Athlone Institute of Technology. From RunEU network, I expect that the current learning experience will be enhanced through technology as well as strong collaboration with all industry leaders. I also expect that we students have an opportunity to develop the skills that will help us to fight the global challenges in the future.
Now we thank you for your attention throughout our presentation. Now we're going to move into the Q&A session of the student session, and we're going to kind of change it a bit and kind of turn the questions on ourselves first before we actually go out into the virtual realm. So I'm going to pose the first question to the students would be, what advice would you give students watching to get involved in this process?
For me, I guess, first of all, like inform at your university what your options are. I think the best way to participate in RUN at this moment is to be in the student advisory board. In that way you can have your say in RUN policy and also join 120 other students in the annual student week and the RUN challenge. So I think that will be an amazing first step. And if that's not a possibility for you, inform with your teachers and your professors if there's a possibility for you to join an international RUN project.
Great. Okay, so to build on that, how can we use our experience with COVID and technology, even though it's against me today, in growing this network to ensure a borderless development?
I think what COVID showed us is that we don't need, physical meetings to actually achieve a lot. So I think this is a great way to start with stuff like virtual mobility and online mobility. So we can interact with other students from other countries and still be in your home country. This is good for the environment, but it's also a way to make mobility more accessible for students who are not able to go abroad.
Great. Okay, so a big emphasis was brought on language barriers. So what kind of initiatives already exist or could grow to challenge that barrier that students may face? Melina, do you want to come in on this?
Yeah, I can jump in just to talk a little bit about mobility. So yeah, despite my very Portuguese sounding name, I'm actually based in Ireland at the moment. I come from Brazil and I did my master's and I'm currently doing my PhD as well in LIT. And as like my perspective as an international student here in Ireland, would like to highlight three key aspects that I think are really good here in Ireland regarding research. So first of them is that I have a lot of support from the college. Even when we're doing like a master's or a PhD by research that we don't have actually classes to attend, I still feel very assisted by the college. So there's a whole like training sessions and institutional support from the college. So I have easy access to, for example, healthcare and mental health places inside the college. And this is really great. Another thing is that researchers here have a lot of autonomy as well. So I don't feel that I'm treated as a student here. I'm treated as a professional working on research. So this is really nice. So you can have a lot of autonomy in your own research as well. So the second point that I think that is really great here is that there's a lot of different funding streams. So there's always an open call for projects. It can be at local level, national level, international level, European level. So it's really nice to see these things happening here. The last point is a lot of industry collaboration in industry as well. So I had the chance to work for a while inside an European innovation hub based in LIT. So I had the chance to see how industry here is really keen to collaborate with these research projects, and which is also really nice. And I believe all of these will just get better with RUN EU. So hopefully we're gonna have more students around. And yeah, that's my contribution to the discussion.
Thank you, Samuel. So can I raise the question here of what is your opinion regarding the impact of identity integration with the RUN EU network?
Okay, so I think that's for me. And I would like to share some notes about the impact of identity and integration of the RUN EU in the students. And I believe that the RUN EU will give the students the opportunity to become a real citizen of Europe and to empower the younger European generations. will give also the student the opportunity to attend and to be part of one single huge campus, will allow proper mobility agreements and opportunities between the universities and the regions where they are located, and will also support research culture across Europe. One last important thing is the improvement of the education quality with an integration of European standards and guidelines. And that's it.
Thank you, Miguel. I have a question that actually came through in the chat. So it's in regards to the reality of student life, that you would like lecturers or college staff more aware of when planning modules or directing funding. What would it be to be more aware of? So student life, as we're all aware, it's encompasses everything. It's not just time inside the classroom. It's the activities you get involved with, the friendships you make, and the person you kind of build into. So I think that question is more geared towards so the question is, if there was one area of the reality of student life that you would like lecturers and college staff more aware of when planning modules or directing funding, what would that be? I can jump in, just even regards to with this new change with education and everything going with technology and Zoom meetings, the big thing coming back is technology fatigue with people. We weren't built to sit 5 hours in front of a computer screen. So even incorporating some sort of wellness breaks to give the students a chance so they can actually take in the information and when they are actually engaged with the lecture. So that's one component for myself that I'd like to see.
Yeah, I believe when we were in Brussels in February, this is a topic that always would come up, like how would we make possible to everybody to have access to like different universities, let's say university contents from different countries and this kind of stuff. And we wouldn't imagine that like 1 month later, this was the problem for the whole world. Actually, it wasn't just the Run EU a challenge, it was actually a challenge to the whole world. And I believe this is something that lecturers, pretty much every educational institution now will have to address, how to easily make, let's say, traditional teaching structures and methods also available online and this kind of stuff. And I have to say that we've done a good job in LIT so far with the blended learning approach. And we only have to learn from Run EU as well and share what we have learned.
I agree. Collaboration is key in this area. So I'd like to close off the session if there's no more questions to come in. I thanks everyone for their time and patience with this presentation. And we look forward to working again in the future in this event.
Okay, thank you to our students for all the participation and also for your contributions for running you European University. Now we'll start the panel discussion, Member States in the support of European universities. This panel will take place with the government representatives of running EU countries, to whom we are thankful for their participation. For the first speech of this panel, I would like to invite Minister of Science, Technology and Higher Education of Portugal, Manuel Heitor.
Thank you very much. Let me thank all of you for participating in this joint round table, which is always very peculiar in this the digital way of meeting, but a special gratitude and acknowledgement to Minister Niall Collins from Ireland. We are in a great challenge, and actually I've been in the last few hours here in the School of Education of the Leiria Polytechnic, where actually I participated in a small class where students were reading a great Portuguese writer, Miguel Torga, and the book they were reading starts in something of this type. In any adventure, the most important is to start. And in fact, I would like to acknowledge all of you for starting this joint venture, and also from learning with each other. We are very much interested to support this initiative. Certainly, we all should work to raise and to attract European funds and to engage the European Commission. But in Portugal, we are also very much interested to co-fund this initiative. We are, particularly through the Portuguese Science Foundation, investing in doctoral grants to add on existing European funding. But certainly, it will be very important for all of us to share experiences. How can we create synergies between national and European funding schemes and really strengthen this type of partnerships? This is important because one of the greatest challenges in the years to come, particularly for the next framework program, is the synergy between different types of funding. We are now planning a new pluriannual financial framework, certainly including centralized funding from the, in particular, the Erasmus Plus new program, but also the Horizon Europe program. And we are also planning the new framework for European structural funds, which are European decentralized funding. And as we all know, also it is under planning the so-called next generation European funding in association with the recovery plan for the full of Europe. And it is very important for us to understand how can we join efforts together to try to better articulate national and the different sources of European funds, and therefore any experiences among countries, how can we strengthen certainly the funding issues associated with this partnership, as well as other networks, will be particularly important. Also because in the next few months, we will be approving throughout Europe the conditions for the next framework programs. And I do believe will be very important to guarantee that these existing networks are certainly able to attract different sources of national and European centralized or European decentralized funding. So your experiences, your understanding, how can we build on existing framework and funding frameworks to further promote synergies are important. Otherwise, apart from the funding issue, we all understand that a critical issue in this network is certainly to expand the mobility of students, but is to go to a further step, particularly in terms of joint degrees and double degrees among institutions. And this brings a new challenge of joint accreditation of the courses. In Portugal, we are certainly recognized as throughout Europe the independence of accreditation agencies, but we are very much challenging our accreditation agency to better understand double and multiple accreditation mechanisms, and essentially the idea that under joint degree scheme, if one of the countries accredits their courses, it should be expanded to all accreditation agencies, minimizing the bureaucracy at different national levels. But these do require agreements between the different national accreditation agencies because they behave as independent organizations. And again, I believe this is an important message that we all should work to open up our accreditation agencies to simplified but also multiple and doubled accreditation schemes. If we have a strong mobility pattern of students and teachers, if we have joint research, if we have joint degrees, certainly the step afterwards will be joint recruitment of teachers and researchers, which we know in Europe will be a major challenge because of labor conditions and labor regulations at different European countries. But certainly, I do believe that European institutions are those which are more in better position to launch effectively joint recruitment of teachers and researchers, evolving step by step towards effective consortium to run the different institutions. So again, I believe that we are experimenting in Europe new adventures. This is a starting point, and we count in all of you to really experiment new initiatives, to challenge governments. And from my government position, I want to be challenged by all of you with new ideas, new adventures. Certainly, you can count on us and on the Portuguese presidency of the European Union to raise all the necessary effort to build better synergies and better articulation between national and European funds. Thank you very much.
For the next speech, I would like to invite the Head of Science and Further Education from Vorarlberg State Government, Austria, Gabriela Duch.
Micro on already? Yes. Good afternoon and hello to everybody. It's a great pleasure for me to participate in this kickoff meeting. And I must say I'm quite enthusiastic about all I've heard about the project so far. On behalf of the government of Vorarlberg, I may say we are very happy and we are proud to be part of the RUN EU regional network. And we are convinced that it opens up new and interesting perspectives and also opportunities, not only for our higher education institutions, not only for Fachhochschule Vorarlberg, but also for the region as a whole, for societal development, for the economic sector, for the further education institutions, and also for the cultural institutions and cultural scene in the country. We consider it as substantial to support the projects and also the exchange activities in the way idealistically, but of course also financially as far as ever possible. Vorarlberg, if you have ever been here, is a region combining a very strong economic performance with an impressively developed social sector and also a very thriving and strong dynamic cultural scene. And we are interested in learning from each other. As we are a small country, we are dependent on a cooperation, and we think it's crucial for the further development of the country to cooperate in this project, cooperate over the borders, all over Europe, I may say. So it is important that a lot of young people, teachers, professors, students develop together ideas and solutions that we can cope with the challenges of the future. I have to say a big thank you to all the initiators of the project. I'm really impressed. It is a very, very impressive project. And I have to say thank you to all those having been involved in preparing the project so far, and to all those being involved in realizing it. I wish you all a very successful start, and I wish all the best for the project. And I hope that in the future, not too far away, we will be able to meet physically. Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite the Deputy Director General of the Ministry of Education and Culture, Division of Higher Education Policy from Finland, Birgitta Vuorinen.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. And hello all from my home office. And this home office has a very different meaning from British vocabulary. So this is where I live, and this is where I work at the moment because of the COVID-19. But thank you very much for the invitation. It's really a pleasure to be here with you tonight and say greetings from the Finnish Ministry of Education and Culture. We have a very special relationship between the Finnish government and the initiative, because this initiative was launched during the Finnish EU presidency. And now when we heard the Portuguese minister, so there will be a very good continuum for this work. And saying this, I would like to start by saying that education, higher education and research are the most important investments Europe can make in its people and in its future. So while the responsibility for education and training systems lies with the individual member states, the development of human capital is a policy concern for the whole Europe. Digital and green transition really need competent and highly qualified people. We need to step up our efforts together and make higher education in Europe the best in the world, whilst at the same time respecting the diversity of our education systems across the EU. A Portuguese minister brought up the different systems we have. For instance, accreditation is a very familiar concept in Portugal, but in Finland, we don't have an accreditation system. That is one example of the future challenges you perhaps might tackle. We also need to increase the synergies within the higher education sector and between the higher education sector and research sectors to strengthen European innovation and skills base. I heard the students saying and calling after a close cooperation between higher education and research. And I think that this is one of the very important features that the European universities alliances must keep and shelter. So higher education should be research-based, and scientific knowledge should also be part of other actions in the society. And higher education institutions also are of key importance in building bridges between higher education and the world of work. We also think that it's important to keep in mind the whole education system. So also the links from secondary level education, from upper secondary education and vocational education and higher education. The basis and the motivation for building more advanced skills in our society is created already from early childhood education. So this is a very broad scope, but I think that it's very important to keep in mind also a kind of openness towards also other parts, the education system. The COVID-19 crisis has already shown that what is the importance of openness and cooperation in building more inclusive and resilient higher education systems. And one of the biggest challenges is to take up the opportunities provided by digitalization and turn them into innovative learning and teaching environments. And this is certainly one of the areas where European universities alliances can act as test beds. And in Finland, we have started called a digital vision for our higher education institutions. And I think that this is really remarkable that all Finnish universities and universities of applied sciences are developing this concept, this digital vision, and also the steps towards achieving the aims is done together. The whole higher education institution sector and also we as a government are supporting it. So this is perhaps something that you will learn during this Run EU project and be also part of this very interesting development. Any transformation needs also leadership and engagement of whole academic community, including students. It's very nice to see and hear that the students are from the beginning a very strong part of Run EU. It's also good to recognize that in addition to the European Union context, there is also Bologna cooperation, which probably provides also very good tools to support European universities, alliances and Run EU. Okay, I'm sure that your pilot, for instance, will give very useful information on new innovative solutions and also encountered problems when visioning the further steps. Of course, the first pilot started only a year ago, and this is the second phase, and perhaps there will be also a third phase, and we'll see more universities and universities of applied sciences in these networks. We have been very proud that 11 Finnish higher education institutions are involved in these European universities alliances. And we're very, very proud of that. And I think that these initiatives will really also raise up those questions that we have to tackle. And we think that even if we have not yet explored that there are or identified that there are obstacles for the implementation of the European universities alliances, should they arise, we are ready to react. I think that I'll stop here and maybe there's time for discussion as well. I would just like to say that I'm very proud, of course, that Finnish higher education institutions are involved. And also I would like to wish you a very good success. You have a very beautiful challenge in your hands. Cherish it and develop it. It's going to be something that we're going to hear about in the near future. Thank you very much.
For the next speech, I would like to invite the Policy Advisor for Internationalization from the Ministry of Education, Culture and Science, OCW, of the Netherlands, Sophie Duitscher.
Hi, hello. Can you all hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I am Sophie Duitscher and I'm a policy advisor at the Dutch Ministry, as mentioned. And I would like to thank you all for this opportunity to be present at the kickoff of the Regional Universities Network EU Alliance. The Dutch government has warmly welcomed the European University Initiative, supports it and sees it as a promising opportunity to form networks across Europe. And we appreciate the key principle that alliances form long-term strategies with partners from the different parts of Europe. And this geographical spread can help the goal of achieving balanced brain circulation by offering students, staff, and researchers access to international higher education. And therefore, we were very happy to see 4 Dutch institutions participating in the first pilot phase, and now another 9 institutions in the second pilot phase, this time also including 2 universities of applied sciences. In the past few months, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has been challenging for the higher education sector in various ways. Also, in forming these alliances, I can imagine that it has provided unforeseen difficulties. During a webinar organized by the Commission this summer, I learned that the majority of the institutions considered that their participation in an alliance had been helpful in tackling the COVID-19 difficulties. And also in conversation with the first Dutch participants, I learned how innovatively challenges are addressed and how good practices are shared. And in my eyes, this is a good example of the added value that a European University Alliance can create and its high ambitions. And I wish the regional universities network partners good luck in the further development of their alliance. Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite the Head of Department of Higher Education, Strategy and Institutional Development of the Ministry of Innovation and Technology from Hungary, Lara Sinaros Százbó.
Thank you very much and good afternoon to everybody. It's a great pleasure to say welcome on behalf of the Ministry for Innovation and Technology, on behalf of the Deputy State Secretary for Higher Education. The educational environment is in change across Europe. At the 2017 Gothenburg Summit, EU leaders outlined their vision for the future of education and culture in Europe. One of the initiatives they visioned was the European University Initiative. The European University Initiative was developed in cooperation with higher education institutions, student organizations, member states, and the Commission. And now it has become one of the EU's flagship initiatives as part of its efforts to build a European education area. So we are very proud to be part of it, and Hungary has 11 universities participating in the initiative. The main goal of the European Commission's tender was to establish strategic cooperation among the newly established university associations with a new world-class and internationally competitive higher education institutions. And this is exactly the aim of Hungary as well for our higher education system. Hungarian higher education institutions participate with an outstanding result in the European University Initiative. And it's going to add up, particularly to our international competitiveness. All this facilitates the integration of Hungarian higher education, not only into the European education area, but also into the European research and innovation area, which is one of the initiatives of this network as well. The Hungarian government encourages measures to improve the quality, performance, attractiveness, and international competitiveness of domestic and European higher education. And with this initiative, the joint efforts of the policy field and the universities can help Hungary and Hungarian higher education to connect, to create a Europeans' new generation who are capable of co-working regardless of language, borders, and disciplines to address effectively the societal challenges and labor market gaps in Europe. The Hungarian government is devoted to support the universities, the state-maintained universities, and state-funded universities in this in the initiative, and we co-finance the networks. And altogether, the Ministry for Innovation and Technology is going to pay 3.58 million euros for these universities throughout 3 years. Also, with the involvement of the ministry, the Tempus Public Foundation, the Educational Authority, and the participating higher education institutions, we established a monitoring and the legislative working group, which is operating to prevent the obstacles and to provide legal solutions for the networks to be able to fulfill their aims. So let me thank you again for the invitation, and I wish you a great success. And we are looking forward to this project very much because a lot of its topics is also very high on our agenda. Thank you very much.
And to finish the discussion panel, I would like to invite the Minister of State for Skills and Further Education, Niall Collins.
Hello, good afternoon to everybody. I'm delighted to take this opportunity to address the webinar and to give the perspective of the Irish government. To say that we are enthusiastic supporters of the Run European University Network. Our view is that this collaboration is very important for the advancement of further and higher education, particularly regionally based further and higher education, which is a key goal and a commitment of the Irish government and indeed of governments right across the European Union. And when we consider the ideals and the strengths of the European Union, all of those fundamentals in terms of member states supporting each other, cohesion, friendship, solidarity, networks, economies of scale, all of those advantageous ideals and goals are also the foundation of this network of regional universities. So we see this as very positive in terms of collaboration, mobility of staff and students, also the fostering and the promotion of multicultural opportunities, multicultural learning, sustainable learning, and providing our students with wider access and wider opportunities. So for all of these reasons, we're hugely supportive of this pilot, and we really, really wish it every success, and we are making our endeavors to continue to support it, to ensure that it is a success, because anywhere where you have strength in numbers and unity of purpose, it will go towards addressing our remit, the reason why we're in the positions that we're in, to fulfill the role and the responsibilities in terms of providing high quality graduates, people to fill the skills demand and the skills gap in our labour force, particularly now with the new COVID challenge which faces us all. We've had to learn to do things and do business, do our processes different. I think we have become way more efficient. The pandemic has forced us to become leaner and more efficient, and that's something which has to transfer along into our colleges and our higher education institutes. It's particularly refreshing that this network is focused on regional rather than our larger cities and our urban centres. That's a debate which dominates a lot of discourse in this country. The urban versus regional divide and the challenges. So the very purpose of this network, which is addressing that, is something that we are very, very proud to be associated with. Just to say that the Department of State that I'm assigned to is a new Department of State in this country. Never before have we had a dedicated ministry or a Department of State for further and higher education. And we have one now with the last 6 months. And it's very exciting. And I think it has had to date a very, very positive impact on the sector. And it's creating a dedicated bridge between school and the workplace, and focusing on what needs to happen in between in further and higher education and the area of skills. So I'm delighted to take the opportunity to speak to everybody, and I can say a few closing remarks, if you like, at the end of the meeting. But suffice to say, I'm delighted to meet everybody, even though it's virtually, and to give you the perspective of the Irish government. Thank you.
Thank you all for the presentations. The support of the member states is very important for the development of the RUN EU European University and our higher education institutions. Now we will have the time to address some of the questions and further discuss on the role of RUN EU in the transformation of our higher education institutions and regions. To help us to answer to some of these questions, I would like to invite the following representatives. So, Nuno Rodrigues, the Vice President of the Polytechnic of Leiria, Rodri Nivin, the International Advisor, Liam Brown, Vice President for Research, Development and Innovation of Limerick Institute of Technology from Ireland, and, if possible, Anne Brazet, also International Advisor.
Chandra, thank you. I think my sound is off. Thank you, Alexandra. Now I think my microphone is on. Thank you all for the participation in the previous sessions. Thank you to our rectors and presidents for the commitment and the ambition. Thank you for our students for the enthusiasm and the inspirational comments. And thank you all for the government representatives for all the support, but also for highlighting some of the challenges and barriers that we'll be having to surpass during this project. Thank you also to our students, professors, researchers, and associated partners that are with us during this session. They are a very important part of the RUN EU European University, and we are looking forward for this joint road ahead. We'll have time for a very short session of questions and answers, and I would like to invite one of our very important international advisors, besides Anne Brazet. Rory Niven has been engaged with the RUN EU Alliance for a long time. He's a former president from a number of institutes of technology in Ireland. He's currently a special advisor for higher education of the Higher Education Authority in Ireland, and is also chair of the OECD Group for National Experts in Higher Education. So, Rory, given your large experience in the area and following all the opinions and contributions of our government representatives, as well as of our presidents, rectors, and students, what do you think are the most relevant points that you'd like to highlight regarding what national governments need to consider, but also what the Alliance needs to consider to ensure sustainable development of our work plan and the RUN EU European University?
Nuno and it's a pleasure to be with you today, and just to congratulate you all on reaching this point, and to say on behalf of myself and Anne, who unfortunately cannot be here today, that we have been delighted to be able to have assisted you on getting to this point, and we look forward to working with you in the future. I think the one word I have to say to everybody is to think about sustainability. And in that regard, I think, to be fair, the representatives of the state governments have already very much highlighted the fact that further national investment is required. And I think that will be forthcoming. We've seen some very good examples of this being talked about today, and I think we're aware of examples elsewhere around Europe. The second point, I think, though, is definitely from an EU perspective, the concept of a European degree and one agency potentially that could offer the European degree, for me, is the real ingredient to ensure you can have a multi-campus European university operating across a multiple of countries. So I think this is something that's vitally important, that we have to look at not just agreements between quality assurance agencies, but even potentially, can we create one overarching body which will deal with European degrees? So just think about this. From the institute perspective, I think for you in terms of sustainability, you have to ensure that you can embed the vision and mission that you so well describe in your submission document within the vision and mission of your existing institute. The vision and mission isn't just about getting the money. The vision and mission is actually about creating a real regional university which is impactful in that regard. And I think you have to do this and be true to what you signed up as a submission process. And in this regard, you have to expand the links between the campuses of the regional university, and to potentially consider expanding the network as time goes by. The other comment I would say to you about sustainability is obviously your ultimate end game of the European Zone for Interregional Development and its evolution in partnership with key stakeholders is the absolute end game for you in terms of sustainable future activities. And this is something you need to look at. And the final message of sustainability is to listen to the students. I think what we heard today from the students is really, really, really what we need to take on board. And there I will leave it. And just again to say thank you for allowing us to say a few words today and to wish you all every success in the future.
Thank you, Rory, very much for your comments and contributions. You are right. Those are some of the key aspects for our future development as an European university. We have addressed many times some issues regarding the pedagogical innovation, the mobility issues, but we have already also discussed one important aspect of this future European university, and this is related with the development of research and innovation areas in our universities, as well as improving even more the ability to cooperate between academia and business within our regions and within Europe. To comment on this, I would like to pass the floor to Liam Brown, the Vice President for Research and Development and Innovation in Limerick Institute of Technology, which is the co-coordinator of the Alliance, to explain what are the expected added goals from the recently submitted project to the Horizon 2020 call to support the research and innovation dimensions of European universities. Liam, please.
Thank you, Nuno. And before I get to that, I just think it's very important. I know we thanked multiple people, and I think it's very important that we recognize the contributions, in particular the students. It's great to see that this is a student-centric project in terms of addressing their needs, and ultimately that the student will deliver to the requirements that the employers will take on. And we have a number of associate partners that have joined here today, particularly Limerick and Clare County Councils, Innovate Limerick, the Enterprise Ireland, IBEC. So there's lots of stakeholders that are participating and will ultimately benefit from our joint university. So that I suppose is the first thing to say. I'd also really like to thank Minister Collins for stepping in at the last minute, right? It's most appreciated. And I understand you also have another commitment to go to, so I'm not going to take too much longer, but just to address Nuno's point in relation to our latest submission, and I think it's very important to recognize that, yeah, we have been successful in the Run EU network. We've been, I suppose, endorsed and the Commission have asked us to carry out a significant project, and we will do and we will deliver everything that we've signed up to deliver. We also feel that a common research and innovation agenda across the member organizations, whereby we'll have, in effect, collaborative, work-based, practice-based masters and PhDs, and ultimately where we will have people embedded in industry, in businesses, in societal partners. They will be undertaking those work-based masters and PhDs that will benefit society, that will benefit economically in terms of what we do. And again, I think Rory had a great turn, which is sustainability. Ultimately, what this network will be about will be how can we make our planet more sustainable. We have a big focus on the bioeconomy and how we can do things better together. I think that's very, very important. And I think we will continue to collaborate on that front. So look, I could talk for a lot more across the activities, but I also do need to recognize there's been a lot of people contributing both on the YouTube and have been part of the call, our own LIT staff, AIT staff, all of the partner staff. So in terms of IPL, IPCA, HAMP, SAD, NHL, Stanton, and SAD. So it's great. It's great to see, I suppose, collaboration across the continent. And I think what ultimately what we will do, it will be for the common good. So all I want to say is thank you, Nuno and Rui and the team for the opportunity for us. And indeed, yes, we're co-coordinating. And I also have to seriously thank Dr. Polly Murray, who's our head of research and technology transfer, who was instrumental. I mean, lots of this collaboration went back to the days of FP7 when Paddy was a researcher collaborating with Rui Pedrosa at the time as a researcher. So again, it just shows collaboration and success leads to more, and we will do great things with this RUN network. Thank you, Nuno, and back to you.
Thank you, Liam. This project being also, of course, one of the many applications that we have already submitted following the digital readiness application to the Erasmus+. This is a start of a long road of cooperation. You have done a very important thing, which is to recognize and thank all the colleagues and friends from the 8 members of the Alliance that have been working intensively with all of us during the last few months in strengthening our cooperation, which will be paramount for the transformation of our regions. Our universities were brought together by their common vision of acting as engines for social, economic, and cultural development of our regions. We, of course, also rely and count very much on our students, on their contributions, but the main goal is to empower our students and delivering future and advanced skills to allow them to be relevant actors in society transformation in our regions, as well as creating a more sustainable, competitive, and inclusive Europe. From our point of view, this is why we say that our students will inherit the future. So before passing the floor and thanking again all the participants in these sessions, the rectors, the presidents, our students, and the government representatives, again, before passing the floor to the Minister Niall Collins, I'd like to say thank you all. We are looking forward to continue to work with all of you. Take care. Now, please, Minister Niall Collins, for a few small closing remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll just say a few remarks in closing today's discussion, and I won't delay unduly because I'm sitting here in the Irish Parliament, in my office in the Irish Parliament, and our Parliament is in session across the river in the National Convention Centre, and the business in relation to Brexit, just to give you the title, it's the Withdrawal of the United Kingdom from the European Union, Consequential Provisions Bill 2020. So it's very important Brexit business has commenced, and I will have to take myself down there as quickly as possible. I want to thank all the speakers who participated in this virtual conference. It was very informative, and it is great to hear the positivity and the solidarity and the enthusiasm, because we all have one goal in common, and that's to improve our communities, our regions, our countries, and by extension, the European Union. Because ultimately, through our membership of the European Union, we have our strength in unity, and we are competing globally, and we have to survive globally. And to do that, we have to continually improve ourselves and make ourselves more efficient and better. And certainly this initiative and this pilot will go a long way towards doing that. And that's for sure. I just want to address, if I may, the domestic audience on this conference call. I'd like to congratulate the Limerick and Athlone Institutes of Technology in reaching a very significant milestone in the process of becoming a technological university. The formal application, as we know, was lodged over the weekend or Friday before the weekend to Minister Harris and I, and it really represents a very significant step forward for the Midlands and the Midwest region. and it will ultimately be successful in a short number of months, I have no doubt. And I think there's great credit due to Vincent Canan and to Ciarán O'Cahan in Athlone and all of your team and all of your staff. I think it was really refreshing to see the staff and the students engaging in the process and the staff endorsing the move so overwhelmingly. There's no doubt that when the process is completed and when we have a new technological university, that it will improve our competitiveness as a region, and it will improve the educational offering, and by virtue it will improve our linkages through the Run EU network that we're discussing here today. So it's really, really positive news, and it's the third such technological university to avail of the opportunity in this country. And it's very, very significant because, as I alluded to in my earlier remarks, we have on some levels a greater Dublin area, East Coast versus the regions imbalance, which we as government are very conscious of, and we have to continually keep that to the forefront in our minds and to address and to create opportunities and counter opportunities in the regions around our country. And I'm sure many of our European colleagues who are part of this discussion here know and understand those challenges and have those challenges within their own countries, their own domestic countries also. So just to say thanks to everybody. It's important that people like myself who find ourselves in the roles that we're in, and as legislators, that we get an opportunity to hear from the good people like yourselves who are at the coalface, who are at the front line, and who are delivering in your respective roles. And it's very important that we are informed and that the information flows from the bottom up to help inform us, and it helps equip us to do our job more efficiently, I hope. So thanks very much for the invitation to speak to you, and we will speak again, I'm sure, in the not too distant future. Thank you.
On behalf of the Minister Manuel Heitor from Portugal and the Minister Niall Collins from Ireland, I declare this session closed. Thank you very much for your online participation on the Regional University Network European University Kickoff Meeting and Launch event. We hope to meet you soon again. Thank you.